This channel is Stylish Irishman, and I'm a stylish Irishman. So the mother tells me. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Matt here, back with another video. This one is my first one in 2020. I started the channel in 2019. Channel's going well, thank God, and thanks all for your support. Anyway, today I have a video where I'm just going to outline 5 of my New Year's resolutions that I have, which relate to my fragrance collecting and purchasing, etc. So I think that a lot of people will be able to relate to these. We all experience the same things when we're collecting fragrance. We buy too much, we spend too much money, we do lots of drastic things based on hype, etc. So I just thought that you might be able to take these into account yourself as well. Based on my experience with fragrance collecting over the last 4 or 5 years, I have learned a lot of things, and I've really kind of knuckled down with these few things that's going to help me deal with all the purchasing and stuff that I do. I'm going to cut down a lot on it, and I'm just going to get into the 5 here now. So they're in no particular order, but number 1 is definitely probably the most important one. Just stick around if you're interested, and guys, give the video a like if you haven't already. I really appreciate it, and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Join the SI fam, the best fragrance family on YouTube, and you can believe that. Anyway, number 5 on the list I have here is to stop blind buying. So if you don't know what blind buying is, it's buying a fragrance without even smelling it. So if you're into watching fragrance YouTubers and stuff, you'll understand this. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you watch fragrance YouTubers. But blind buying is something that can go horribly wrong. And I've done it a good lot. I've blind bought a lot of my fragrances. And, you know, lots of them are I only give them 5 out of 10 really. And when you do blind buy them, you tend to try and appreciate them more than you actually do, just because you have them and you have not really no other option. So I've really said to myself now this year that I'm not going to blind buy. You know, it's very easy to get sucked into it all and just kind of buy something, and I'm a very trigger happy person at times, so it's probably not a good trait when you're into collecting fragrances, especially some of them that are very expensive. So yeah, I think one recommendation I would make to you, and one of my New Year's resolutions, is to stop blind buying. So you should sample, and it's a great thing to do. Sample. It can tick things off your list, or it can just strike things off your list. So if you want to add them to your to buy list or take them off it, because, you know, hype is really something that's a problem, and that's another one here. And number 4 on the list then, guys, following from that, is to ignore the hype on a fragrance. So, you know, on YouTube there does be lots of hype based on particular fragrances. All the new releases and stuff, some of them can be hyped, ones that you've never smelled before, and you get all up in it and you're watching so many videos. But I'm guilty of getting into the hype of perfumes before. I bought a good few off hype, and a good few I'm disappointed with. You know, a good few that I have there that I don't really use that much, and I'm disappointed that I have them. So I do think that you should just really sample things before you buy, and that's, you know, my number 5 there is not blind buying. Ignoring hype is another important factor that I think you should take into consideration. It's very easy to get caught up in the hype, especially with fragrances that are discontinued as well, not just new releases. Fragrances that are discontinued, I've bought into hype of them before as well. You know, I have the 2009 formulation of La Nuit de l'Homme that's discontinued. I hadn't smelt it obviously before I bought it. Now luckily I got it very cheap from someone who didn't know that they had a 2009 formulation. It was just someone who had a bottle of La Nuit de l'Homme for all they knew, and they sold it for very cheap as a second-hand bottle of fragrance. But I also bought a bottle of Midnight in Paris by Van Cleef & Arpels, and I was hugely disappointed with that personally myself when I got it, after spending a bit more than the retail price for it. Now, it was cheap when it was out, but I spent a good bit more than I should have on it, on a 30ml bottle. And I gave it to my girlfriend and she wore it, and I ended up liking it on her, but I still didn't think it was worth the money that I paid for it, and it was worth the hype. It was just being hyped and hyped when it was discontinued especially, and it was just a disappointing buy for me. So you really have to smell things, in my opinion, before you start spending wads of cash on them, like, because, you know, as you know, with this hobby you can spend money there like there's no tomorrow. Just try and watch that, because really and truly it's just scented water. So yeah, if you have a big collection, you know, don't buy into the hype, sample and see what you think before you make a purchase. So number 3 on this list then is I'm going to stop buying large bottles. So when I started collecting first, I used to buy the largest bottle I could find, even when blind buying, like stupidity is what that was. I have a good few bottles there now where I have 150, 200ml bottles of them, and some of them I don't even have a dint gone out of. You know, I have CH Men, 200ml bottle of CH Men by Carolina Herrera. Never use it. Not really a huge fan. I think it's very synthetic. I like CH Men Privé. I did buy a 150ml bottle of that and I was happy with that. But again, CH Men, not huge fan of. I'll use it every now and again, but there's no way I'm going to get through 200ml. So that's just something else to take into consideration, guys. Don't buy large bottles. If you have a huge collection, there's absolutely no need for it. But if you're going out to buy something you love that you're going to constantly wear as a signature scent or something, that's a good idea. But if you're going out and you're collecting lots, there's no point in buying the large bottles because they're not going to get wore, you know. So that's number 3, is to not buy large bottles. So number 2 then, guys, is to stop buying perfumes that will work in similar situations as ones I already have. So, you know, you can buy, I have, let's say, for example, my brother recently purchased Roja Parfums Enigma. So he's going to use that predominantly for special occasions and maybe weddings and stuff like that, because that's the sort of scent it is personally, in my opinion. It's a very formal kind of upscale scent. If that was me, I have a vial of that which I will be using for same situations, but I was also thinking of buying Black Afghano by Nasamato for formal occasions as well. I think that's a really nice scent for black tie events and just weddings and stuff. It's a really nice scent, Black Afghano. But I don't know, would I, if I had Roja Dove Enigma, if I had a full bottle of that, was there any point in me buying another fragrance for the same situation? You know, I have lots of fragrances that I'd wear in different situations, and some of them are just good for one situation. Like CH Men, as I mentioned previously, that's apparently a good date night scent, but also so is CH Men Privé, La Nuit de l'Homme. You know, is there any point in having so many different fragrances for similar situations? That's up to you, obviously, if you're willing to spend your money, but personally, I don't think so. So I'm going to try and keep my collection to a minimum, whereas to not have so many perfumes for the same situation, because it's a waste really. Because at the end of the day, you're probably going to choose your favorite every time, so you're not going to be wearing the other ones. So that's on my number 2 on the list. If you haven't already, guys, please give the video a like. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much. So my number 1 on the list, I think, is the most important on the list, and I think it's a great way to collect perfumes. And I'm only going to buy 10 out of 10s now. You know, there's no, I'm not going to buy ones that I think are okay now. I'm not going to buy ones that I say to myself, it might grow on me, just because of the hype, just because of what other people say. I'm going to smell something if I like it and I love it. I really have to love something now before I buy it, you know, because I realise I have a lot of wasted fragrances there in my collection at the moment where I'm not using because I don't love them, and I just keep going for the ones that I love. You know, my most recent one I got for Christmas was Intoxicated by Kilian, and absolutely loved that. That was gifted to me, but that was one that I think is a 10 out of 10, and I love it. And that's all I'm going to buy now, is 10 out of 10 in my opinion. So if you see any new fragrances coming onto my channel, I have purchased a few over the last few months that haven't appeared on my channel yet, but any new ones, maybe when I start doing a bit more single reviews and stuff, I will be only reviewing ones that I think are 10 out of 10, or maybe for some reason, if I have been sent perfumes, I'll review them or stuff if I have samples. But ones I'm going to be purchasing now are 10 out of 10, and I think that's a great way to go by collecting. You should only buy something if you love it. If you don't love it, there's no point in buying it because you're not going to wear it too much. Anyway, guys, if you have some New Year's resolutions which relate to fragrance collecting, let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what do you think of my ones. And thanks a million for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Happy New Year to you all. Hope to see you again in the next video. So take it handy. God bless.